as you've guessed, by so many videos and so many speakers talking about so many things that are representing or are close ways of describing truth, that no one really can say it or reveal it as it is. So many videos myself tried to explain what this is. And I think the most simplest way is to be simple about it and say, life is a livingness. It's a livingness, you know, not in time. It's a livingness. There's a sense of it being here. And there's a sense of you living it. And there's a sense of you apparently knowing what it is. But it's all sense. When the senses stop operating as individual knowing, individual experience of sight being different from sound, sound being different from taste, taste being different from sight, touch being different from noise, from talking, from verbalizing. They're all the same sense, the sense of being alive. When you touch your nose, when the mind, the brain is not getting involved, there's a soft feeling. There's a sensory activity. There's a sensory activity when you see the sunlight hitting the glass, or reflecting on the lake, or just a blue sky in its complete blueness. There's a sense of a hum inside your ears for some. If not, there's a sense of music playing on your record player. But they're all aspects of being alive. When all the senses merge into one sense of I am, I exist, it opens up a possibility for the essence of God and the essence of you, let's call it consciousness, to appear as the whole sense. Now, one of the words that are not really talked about, but for this individual and its experience of truth, its experience of that voice of God, that godly intervention, that revelation, where I disappeared, I was destroyed, every atom, molecule obliterated into galaxies and the cosmos beyond, returning into that pure consciousness, right? When that takes place, there's a moment, they call it presence, they call it here-ness, now, awareness, right? One moment. This moment reveals a word that really encompasses what every speaker is trying to say. Some use the word non-duality, some use the word consciousness, spirituality, whatever your culture is, you have a word that describes the truth that you are here to be, to represent. And you represent it as a body, as flesh, as bones, as blood. But your body is just an image, a reflection of something more beautiful, of what lies within the body. You. I. But this word is not really projected, because there's more fancy words. There's more contemporary words, non-duality, consciousness, Sat Chit Ananda. There are Hindu words, there are Christian words, there are Catholic words, Brahman, Atman, absolute, all these words, very modern, very upgraded ways of saying, what profoundly is the same. And that word is whole. See? And that word, when it's said with no mind, in an open way, with a free and liberating, open Christ body, whole. Yeah? Everything appears to be the same, one, existing, and you are not separate from it. You are not the seer of it. You are part of the whole. But it also envisages a whole. It comes down and putum, the whole, And not an advocate of words, but the experience and the words that arise, which are each very personal to each one. This one is I, is, it, that. Very simple, basic words that don't take you into a religion or a scientific, avenue. But this word whole, and what it experiences as whole, some call it holy. HOLY, holy, holy. But whole also takes you into HOLE, whole. There's no separation between everything being here as one, but a way out. Thich Nhat Hanh, he draws a circle, whole, and a way out. That whole, that escape route. So the circle is mindful, and the way out is mindless. So we have the opportunity to live mindfully, which we find very difficult because of our conditioned and our egoistic ways of being controlled, systematically punished, forced into education, forced into certain ways, guidelines, complying with rules, regulations, and whatever. For many, and for others, no. What you're talking about? Life's great. I have a yacht. I have a really healthy family. I have a great job as a solicitor or a philosopher or whatever. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't understand this depression. I don't understand this suffering, because you live in that area. That's fine. But the whole, in a return to this new mind, you can kind of recollect, memorize the journey of enlightenment and the most important, speakers like U.G. Krishnamurti, Jiddu Krishnamurti, Mooji, Papaji, Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, Ramana Maharshi, Eckhart Tolle, Gangaji, all these, Anandamaya Ma, Neem Karoli Ba, all these people were very, 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 very valuable Jiddu Krishnamurti, right? And they all appear very spiritual, very liberated, sage-like beings. But there's one that rings true. And this is the way of realizing the second chance. You see, enlightenment to me is a second chance for me. Second chance for this person. Second chance to say, okay, you lived your life like this. It was good. There were very, very good parts, but there was also suffering. There was also a desire to express, to be genuine, to reveal yourself as you truly are. And the second chance is basically, now you're empty. Now you can explore that what you are. Now you can be genuine. Now you can speak without worrying about what the repercussions are, what people say, because you have this attitude that there's no fear. There's nothing to worry about. Death will come to the body. It will be beautiful. It will be incredibly, profoundly the same as living. The same as when we were born. We don't remember it, but we know it. Okay? And whatever happens after that is out of your hands. In fact, everything now is out of your hands, but that's okay. But there's one figure now that really, really makes sense in a scientific way, in a religious way, in a universal way, in a compassionate way, in a truly wise and intelligent way. This one fits all the bills. And he's very same to this whole. I don't know if you know David Bohm. Wow. I remember the hours and hours, maybe days, maybe a whole 24 hours watching the interviews with David Bohm and Jiddu Krishnamurti and being encapsulated and disappearing into this hole. No connection with the understanding of what they were also not understanding. They were just arising questions, arising, no answers, arising, no understanding, arising, nothing. Like this flow of, consciousness, this flow of information, but the information held no importance to human life or whatever. But David Bohm, he said, wholeness. It made sense. He encapsulated the whole experience of enlightenment with this word of wholeness. Everything is whole. How can we be whole? You see? He also was I don't know what these job terms are. He was into science and the hologram. You see, the hologram is the whole. When you leave this body, whatever you are, you need to transcend and you go through this black hole to the next, whatever it is, dimension, life, universe, galaxy, cosmos, planet. But the hologram, that whole, and the journey through the hologram, and the journey through whole of life, and the journey through whole of birth and whole of death, and whatever amounts of deaths and births that you experience, the whole journey is the same. There is no end. There is no beginning. There is the whole holiness, wholly providing an essence of being. So you're like that feather. Life is like your feather. This feather appears. It hasn't just started from 200 meters above your head. It has started infinitely, not with any starting point, through galaxies, universes, cosmos, and it's traveling as slower as the tortoise because it's a feather, and it slowly just floats down, and it's no end. It's wholly here. Wholly rising, wholly dropping, depends on where you're looking from. And just that sense of being, that sense of pure bliss, pure love. A hologram. Time to explore Mr. Bohm further. An absolutely incredible man. A follow-up to Einstein, but really missed in both ways. Missed in his presence, a beautiful presence, a beautiful man that spoke so eloquently and so quietly and subtly about something that every ego he confronted despised being in the same room as, because that ego felt so uncomfortable being close to so much truth. I don't know what I'm not going to say anything over the top about him. But one thing, whatever my mind is throughout this experience of living, Bohm, through the interception, through the interrelated wheels turning, when from him, that Jiddu Krishnamurti spirit, and David Bohm and his intellect, he created something that in maybe it will take so many minds to maybe take 6 or 7 decades to actually say, wow, we missed this one. You know, like we speak about Plato now centuries ago. If we'd only listened to him then, maybe everything would be different. If we'd only listened to David Bohm now, then everything would be different, much more better, much more peaceful. David Bohm envisaged a really peaceful human race, because he was talking from the place of peace, as was Jiddu, and as is all these speakers, as is I. Peace is not what we imagine. It's not what we think is different. It's just being overlaid by noise. You know, the whole is being, protected by this veil of bullshit. It really is bullshit that we go through this life as minuscule minds, punishing our children or keeping our children at bay, not letting them explore their universal mind, keeping them in prisons and boundaries, and not the body, the mental state, and giving the same old bullshit from years ago, the same old religion, the same old science, the same old spirituality, the same old maths, the same old arithmetic, the same old English, the same old words, the same old titles, the same old games, the same old creativity, the same old stuff, just recycling. I wouldn't be speaking like this if I hadn't experienced a dissolution of all that stuff. I'm so glad, I'm so glad. I was done Reiki on many years ago, and the lady who was doing it said, can you visualize everything, all the stuff that's keeping you from being your true self going out your head? At the end of the session, I said, what a lot of bullshit. How can you get rid of stuff, How can you imagine a hole in your head? How can you imagine just this stuff going away? This stuff never goes away. And then in one moment, you don't have a choice. Someone does it for you. God blows a hole through your head, and everything sifts out into that Reiki universe that lady spoke about. And you say, wow, it's true. But I needed a hand. I needed the hand of God, the hand of Jesus, the hand of Neem Karoli Baba, all these wonderful, wonderful guides. But I'm off to investigate within to further inquire what Bom was pointing at, with the help of Jiddu, keeping the mind at bay. Namaste.